Those about to rock, we salute you. So, welcome to the Get Busy Living podcast. I'm Dr. Scott from 6 Cents Acupuncture and the Healthy Habits Club, and we've got the wonderful Tamzin Weller on this morning. I'm looking forward to this one. Thank you so much, Tamzin, for coming on.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Can't wait to hear the gold nuggets of information that you have hidden away in Tamzin. So we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming on. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Look forward to chatting.
So I'll start off with the usual question. So tell us, Tamzin, what gets you out of bed every morning?
What gets me out of bed? What motivates me most about my business is helping small to medium businesses access the same level financial leadership and strategic thinking that large corporates take for granted. Small to medium businesses generate more than half of Australia's output and employ millions of Australians, yet they are the most unrepresented and unsupported when it comes to strategic financial expertise. I've seen firsthand how the right financial insight, governance, and financial planning can transform business performance. And it's incredibly rewarding to bring those corporate disciplines into privately owned and family businesses in a practical and affordable way. It really gives me great satisfaction seeing businesses gain confidence in their numbers, make better decisions, and improve in profitability, and ultimately build stronger, more sustainable businesses. So really, that's what gets me out of bed. Sounds a little boring, but I find it quite enjoyable.
Not much structure at all. So you're obviously in the system, so I can see that.
Yeah.
So that's awesome that you're helping the community, with especially small businesses and business owners.
And there's certain challenges that they're seeing nowadays. There's been changes to employment regulations, recent changes to how the company structures and taxing around it, just figuring out how to navigate it forward. They're just sometimes very isolated and on their own.
Hallelujah. So what was I going to say? So I'm just going to go, you're exactly right. Just when you think that you've got the landscape sorted out with the GovCorp, and all of a sudden they change the rules and change the goalposts. And instead of playing on a rugby field, you're playing on a rugby league field. It's very different. So, or then you're playing on a golf course.
Well, exactly. And they just, sometimes they just don't know which way to turn, what's going to work for them and what they don't know. They don't know what they don't know. And that's the biggest issue they have. Yeah. And so helping them through that is very rewarding and very satisfying.
Because it's all about transparency, yeah. I was going to say, so I'll just go by your LinkedIn profile. So it's got here you're a strategic CFO. And so what's CFO? Tell us what that is.
Chief Financial Officer.
Oh yeah, and growth advisor.
Yes.
And you're a commercial pragmatist, partnering with leaders to identify purpose, refine strategy, align processes, drive success. And what's MAICD?
That is for the Directors, Australian Institute of Directors Association. Okay. So I'm a member of them.
Okay, cool. Well, what got you into that? What led you into that field?
Well, I must
say. There's a few there. There is a few there, I must admit.
Yeah, and I must say my career is definitely not one I have followed the traditional path with at all. And maybe because I didn't follow the traditional path, that's probably why I now run my own business. Always having a little bit of that entrepreneur spirit, that having the curiosity, asking the why, how can we make things differently? But how it started, and when I say not traditional, how it started was I started as the office junior, that little one who took the daily takings to the bank every day. That was my first job. No formal education behind me, nothing, just at the bottom level you could get into in the back of office career. And from there, I pretty much asked lots of questions. I was very tenacious about wanting to move up the ladder and went through every part of the back office role. And while I started working in each of those back office roles, I started studying at night, doing my accounting at night. And I must say, those early years of doing each of those back office roles really taught me from the ground up how business works, why it works this way. You know, you could really get into the nuts and bolts. And it also taught me that if something's wrong, you really need to go back to the source of the problem. Just don't treat the symptom. And so having had that hands-on experience really then pretty much springboard me into moving up the corporate ladder in those finance roles. Being very ambitious, I just kept chasing the next role, not necessarily the title, but the experience in different industries as well. I've crossed over numerous times into different spaces. And eventually I have worked my way up into that executive role of the CFO. And I guess once I got to that point, what I did realize at the end of the day was, yes, I do love numbers. I'm a numbers girl. That's why I'm a CFO. But it wasn't about producing the reports that got me excited. It really was about partnering with the business, shaping the strategy, solving complex problems, and just really figuring out how to move things forward from a business sense. So I guess that is how that all came about. Very untraditional, very much boots in, hard work all the way through, very tenacious in chasing what I wanted, but very curious about why things were like they were, and then just pushing it further and further. But
all right.
At the end of the day, all of that untraditional career trajectory has really given me that real grounding on helping how small businesses work. You know, you've really unpacked all the little elements that sometimes if you come straight out of your degree and, you know, straight into a senior corporate role, you've missed the fundamentals on how things work, the mechanics of it.
Absolutely. So I'll just roll back a little bit and go back in time. So you obviously, did you start in the banking system? Is that how you started?
No, I started for a car dealership on the south side, Motorama, which are still around for today. They were when I started. They were their third generation family owned business, and they had 5 car yards. They were quite a well-established dealership firm. And I started there as their daily banking girl. And obviously car yards, and at the time, not so much nowadays, there was a lot of cash that was paid for cars.
Yeah, so, that's right.
Counting cash, taking the cash down to the bank, all of that kind of stuff. So, it was not at all in the banking world. It was more in that family business environment.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, that's right. If you sell a car that's worth, 20,000, then you've got to try and transfer that around. So it's a wonder you didn't carry.
So true. But it's very reflecting back now, thinking about working in a dealership, their model on how they run their business. Yes, you sell cars, but it's not just the cars, it's the value add through your servicing department, it's the value add through the parts department, and the interlinking of each of their business units on how to make money move around for them and how to optimize retaining a client for life. So you buy the car, but they want them to come back. So it was very grounding in working there, and the education that I got from it.
So they did maintenance as well. So they did basically, they're a rounded company. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So and of course then you're the back of house, and you're working on basically the finances of the business. Is that right?
Yeah. So things like when they were fairly large, so they had separate finance functions. So, I started as that daily office girl, but they had a separate accounts payable team, a separate accounts receivable team, a separate payroll team too, because we had that many people employed.
Wow. Okay.
And then all of those combined up into a team of accountants that oversaw each of the individual dealerships that reported up to a senior structure of a CFO and their board. And so I literally started in that off junior role and went and did accounts payable and accounts receivable and payroll and moved up into that accountant role with them.
And then, did you end up CFO with them?
Not with them, no. Along came baby number one at that point, so I took a little bit of time.
Okay.
Decided we were going to have a lifestyle change and move to Airlie Beach for a while. Although while it is beautiful up there, it is not a place where you can have a career. So
no.
After a while, I came back and I joined.
If you want to work at a bar, maybe.
Yeah.
Or,
definitely. Yes. That wasn't quite my scene though.
Tourism, that's pretty much what they're known for. And also fishing. Yeah.
Really, my husband was very upset when I said I wanted to come back to Brisbane to have a career. And he's like, there's no fish down there.
It's all fished out. Exactly right. He's right. Yeah, he is 100% correct. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so you came back to Bris Vegas and you started a new career, or?
Yeah, no, I started in a company called Connix, which is now RPS, and they were a town planning, surveying, landscape architecture firm. So I moved into what you'd call professional services industry as such. And I joined them right as they were commencing their growth and acquisition strategy plan. And so over the next 5 years with them, so I started in an assistant accountant role with them. And over the next 5 years, we went through 10 mergers.
Wow.
We did 5 acquisitions. We did a whole system upgrade and integration because we had to integrate them into our business, and we had to put a new finance system in place to manage the collection of timesheets. I pretty much, and me being quite tenacious and curious and love opportunities, put my hand up each and every time to be part of the project. So I was part of the team who once we did the acquisition, integrating them into our business, into our culture, our systems, aligning all of their processes, and the rollout of the new system to once we were too large and had to get a system to cater for it, being part of that team who brought all that together, ran the training across all of our locations. And so it was probably one of the most career defining moments for me, being part of it. And I was very, very lucky for their CFO at the time who had a bit of faith in giving me that opportunity. And I learned a lot. One of the downsides, it's not necessarily a downside, but one of the downsides is that when you're part of such an aggressive growth plan like that, it's an amazing opportunity. You learn so much, but you also love the dynamic nature of the role. And so when it finishes, going back to same old job, same thing day in, day out is very hard to swallow. And ultimately, it's probably why I enjoy now running my own show, my own business. I get to have a dynamic nature of different people all the time, because sitting in the same role with the same people, after 3 years, I'm a bit like, I'm a bit itchy here. It feels stale now. I need to move and do other stuff. So while it was amazing, it did have a bit of a negative side in the long run, that I get itchy feet if sitting too long in one spot doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah, absolutely. And so how long did you stay with that company?
I was with them for 5 years.
Oh, okay.
And then I branched off into an
5
architect.
acquisitions in 5 years. Wow.
Yeah, it was aggressive. It was aggressive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I also had a baby in amongst all of that too. So it was baby number 2. So it was crazy at some points. You know, lost the plot a few times. My husband had to pick the pieces up. We made it through. But then I thought it was time to, you know, stretch my own wings and move into my own senior leadership role, and take on that transition into being financial controller, that step before the CFO role. And so I landed a job at an architect firm, still what you would consider professional services. Very interesting architect firms, very interesting people, very creative thinkers, and when they talk to you, they draw to you. So even as they're talking to you, they're drawing how their brain works on a piece of paper in front of them. So I learned a lot about how the architect industry works, some of the challenges around it. But one of the biggest challenges we had there is that creative people, artistic people, they really struggle to finish a project off because they want it to be perfect, and it's never perfect. And you're there saying, we need to finish this project off now. That is done. That's considered done. Oh, I just want to tweak it. We can't keep forever tweaking. It's not how you run business, and it's certainly not the poor client wants their building finished, done and dusted. So you need to put your pen down. So it was interesting. Lots of fun in there as well. So I think I was with them for 4 years. And then I had an opportunity to jump ship to go across to, bloody cat.
That's all right.
I jumped ship across to a company who was a SaaS company, software as a service. And they had just received their first round of investment funding to grow their platform and acquire more customers. So they were called Neato, was an e-commerce platform. So I jumped ship across into them, and oh my God, for the first 6 months thought to myself, what have I done here? Because they just differently.
What have I got myself into?
Oh yeah. They think differently, they move differently, working with a team of developers. I learned how to be the agile method that you see, which has been adopted across many businesses now, but the agile method on how they run product development, software product development, test it, roll it out, move it through. But they move really quick. And everything, it's not traditional at all. We have this over here to do this and this over here to do this, and they bundle it all together and they write code to make it all work, and no paper. We went to a no paper environment instantly, and I'm like, okay, that's amazing, but hold on, can we slow down? We still have finances we need to achieve here and a net result. So that was fun, and I learned a lot about the non-traditional way of running a business when it is not focused on net profit. So when you're particularly in a startup SaaS business environment, it is all about gaining market share and managing the cash burn from the investment to get the market share. It's not about that net profit environment, because there is no profit at all. It is a massive loss to start with while you're developing the product and spending a lot of money to acquire new customers. So you have to find different metrics to measure whether you're on track to meet the objective you were hoping to meet over that 2 to 3 year period.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. You're talking about property development, yeah? Because they're projecting. They have to project what they're going to make and the outlay that they're going to have to give to kick it all off.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right, because you don't know. You don't know But they would have a blueprint. They would have a blueprint of
Yeah.
black cat.
Yes.
Black cats. But they would have a blueprint of how, how many units they got to buy or sell, I should say, how many they got to make that profit, get that margin up, and make it as build it as cheaply as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And make it compliant. That's the other problem. Compliance.
And not run out of cash before the cash finally does flow in from the market that you're targeting.
Yeah.
So it's a very different model. It can be quite stressful because you've got a lot at stake, but it's a really good learning curve. It was interesting.
Yeah. You don't sort of see the money until a couple of years later, 2-3 years later.
Yeah.
Start
you've got to
see anyway.
have faith that it's going to work. Have everything move in the right way.
There's no GFCs coming.
No. And you're equally managing your investors, the people, whether that's the bank or you've gone out and got private investment or whatever, you're equally managing their confidence in you producing that. So it's not only just managing the business internally to deliver it, making sure everyone's, got the plan and you're working towards the plan. You're then having that separate conversation with those investors to say, yeah, we're all on track. Still have confidence with us. Don't stress. We're fine. Moving forward. Here's what I can give you to show you that this is still the right decision you've made. So you've sort of got both scenarios playing out.
Yeah, you got to sell to your investors, basically. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Investors. But I mean, they all know each other, so they sort of know what's going to happen. They know that in the long run they're going to make profit, and a decent profit too.
Exactly. So then I parted ways with them and went over to.
How long were you with them again? Was it 4 years?
I was with them for 3 years.
3 years,
Yeah.
And
then we parted ways, and I went to work for a company called the School Locker, who were a subsidiary of Harvey Norman.
All right.
Which that was interesting. So one, it was moving into retail. So I've gone from working in Motorama, I guess that's retail, over to professional services with the town planning and surveying, still in professional services with the architect firm, moving over to startup SaaS scenario, and now I'm into retail for a fairly large company who's reporting to a very, very large company. And that was fascinating because to be a subsidiary of Harvey Norman and to see how the mechanics of them work internally was interesting. But these people talk in millions like we talk in dollars.
Dollars, I get it.
I know.
It's a huge chain. It's a massive chain.
Yeah. And they're so desensitized to it. And you're sitting there going, wait a minute.
100 million? Yeah,
that's fine. Sure, we'll move that around. So,
we'll throw 10 million at that. We'll throw 15 at that.
Yeah. So I stayed with them. I think I was with them for 3 years, getting that retail experience, putting their new systems in place, getting their inventory obsolete, working properly. And then I thought I wanted to get back into professional services, which is my comfort zone. So I moved across into a law firm in the city. And I thought I've worked with professional services before. It'll be fine. Lawyers, whole different breed of people.
How long? I get it. What sort of lawyer services were they? Were they conveyancing? Were they?
No. We were insurance law, corporate law, personal injury law. So, a bit of both. So it's interesting. Personal injury law is very different to your traditional law field of being the defendant for insurance companies, and the client and the company I worked for. One of our clients was Amica, which is attached to the James Hardie asbestos.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And we were on the defendant side. So it was very interesting to sit at the table from a different view. I don't know if it was, always the best view to have, but it just gives you a contrasting view on how things are done. But lawyers, very hard to work with.
Well, a conservative, they're usually conservative steadies, yeah?
Conservative steadies, but they're trained to argue. So every conversation you have with them is an argument. Whether they want, I don't even think they realize they're doing it, but it is an argument each and every time. But what it does do is it trains you that if you're going to go and have a conversation, if you're going to go and pitch a new idea or present some facts to them, like the results aren't what they thought it was going to be, you're going to go in there absolutely prepared with all your points covered, your documents ready to roll. It really teaches you to be on your game and to have covered all of the possible angles in a conversation before having the conversation. So it's good training. It is just exhausting having the argument every time.
Attention to detail, yeah. And then you have the answers for all the questions. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, because the moment you say, lawyers take that moment and they run with it.
yeah. Because they're so precise. They're so attention to detail.
Exactly.
Well, that's their job. That's what they're supposed to do.
It's exactly right. It is. And arguing is their job too. And it's just when you're there with them trying to run a business, just a very different energy exhaustion from them.
What was I going to say? How long were you with them for?
The lawyers, I was with them for just under 4 years.
Okay. And did you go into anything else after that?
No, that's when I took my leap of faith. And I quit the corporate world and started my own business.
Yeah, cool. And so you've taken a lot of information. Oh, that's crazy. You've worked with a lot of different businesses in so many different industries.
Yeah,
and that's very interesting. Which would you say was the most? Well, I suppose the lawyers. Yeah, it was the most challenging, or was it with the SaaS?
The SaaS was the most challenging because it was so non-traditional that I had to step out of my learnings, the way I was educated, and really be open to another way and how we're going to do stuff. So it was probably the most challenging.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah,
because you're pushing a spreadsheet that you don't know if it's going to be possible or not.
Yeah,
I understand.
Yeah.
So okay, and you've moved into business coaching, and is that what you would call it?
Yes and no. So I'm not a business coach in the traditional sense. I very much am about what your numbers are saying to me, but I unpack what your numbers are saying to me and explore why things aren't going how you thought they should be going. And then we work through strategies and execution plans to change what's not working. So I think you may have worded it quite well not so long ago, is I'm the lever girl. So I look at business and I figure out how the levers work, and we come up with a strategy to make them work better. And then I sit with my clients to deliver that as well. I don't just walk away once we've got the strategy. We go all the way through to the end.
And what's the end? Tell me about the end.
The end is that you have a sustainable business, that you have fantastic value. You've got a little bit more free time as a business owner. I think that's one of the key goals that we work towards. Your employees are happy to deliver what they want to do, and you have had some more growth in the area you wanted.
Yeah, and be independent. Huh? Don't have to walk back into the business.
Yeah.
Business works for you.
Yeah, every business starts with this goal in mind, and you don't want it to be a 24/7 consumption of your life. Sometimes it gets to that point. You are so consumed with all the decisions, wearing all of the hats that you need to wear, that you just get lost in there. And you need to sort of step back and say, you started this business with a purpose. Let's work out what that was, and let's start moving back towards that. Maybe it's about having a little bit more work-life balance. Maybe it's about leaving a legacy for your children to take over. Okay, how do we structure that for you? Maybe it's about growing the business because you want to sell it later. Great. Let's structure it down that path. But let's make sure we understand what it is we're trying to achieve, and then put everything in place to get to that goal.
Absolutely, yeah. So tell us about those steps. What were the first steps that you would take with a small business owner? Let's say it's services.
Well, it'd be the same for every business. It's really about sitting down. We're going to first start at having a look at what your P&L looks like for now. And I'm going to ask you to tell me how you think your business runs. Okay. I want you to tell me, and I want to see.
Hang on. What did you call it? Penal.
P&L, profit and loss.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the pineal gland, but that's totally different. Profit and loss. Okay. P&L. Oh, yeah. Profit and loss. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so so that'd be the first thing, and you would find out what their profit and losses are, and what their services are,
and if those two are telling the same story, because quite often they're not telling you the same story, and that's where we start.
Yeah, I get it.
So we unpack it. The next step, though, is also about uncovering what it is that they want out of this. What is it you want from the business here? Are we looking to get financial freedom? Are you looking for that family legacy? Are you wanting to grow it and then eventually sell it off? Like, let's get that unpacked, because once we can see that there's a difference between how you think your business runs and what your profit and loss says, and then once I know what you're hoping to achieve, now we're going to unpack all of those little lines on the profit and loss and how the business works, find out what's not working, and then realign them, put in new strategies.
Yeah, and do you help with marketing as well and sales? Or do you do?
I identify if marketing is our problem, aka, is it our market share? Is it pricing? Is the market slowing or growing? I don't do the marketing strategy. I identify whether that's a space, which part of that space we probably need to go and get someone else to help us with.
Yep, that's good. And you've obviously got a network that you can refer to people.
Exactly. People I've worked with before and trust and know that they can deliver the same value that I bring to my clients.
Yeah, absolutely. I get it. And you've done well. We're at the 35 minutes. So tell us about how you've helped someone with their business.
So I have a client. They're a real estate client, and they are third generation. And we're right on the cusp of transitioning to the next generation. So I came on board because they were having cash flow problems, and they needed some help, one, with visibility over what was happening with their cash, two, how to manage their cash. So I came in initially as a consultation to review their cash position and develop a cash flow forecast model that they could use moving forward. From there, once we started to unpack what was going on, we lifted the hood on the car and looked inside at the engine and went, well, there's a little bit more going on over here. We started to realize that we didn't really have detailed information on how the business ran, how their levers worked. So real estate has property management, sales department, valuations, body corporate, but they were all just lumped together on one report, really not telling them what was working, what wasn't working.
Yep.
And so after we did the cash flow forecast, I suggested to them that perhaps you might want to have a look at how you're collating your business information, because I don't think you're getting enough information to make the right decisions. And so then we embarked on a new journey of unpacking how their reports looked, how everything came together, and we started to put together a budget forecast department by department. And then we started to realize, this little space over here is not working very well. Maybe we need to go and put some more strategy into this. Because some of them, like property management, it's a very well-oiled machine. It runs itself, it moves through.
Yeah.
So you don't need a lot of strategy in that space other than if you want to grow it. But over here in sales and valuation, they're quite market demand services provided. So we're going to need to put a little bit more structure and rigor around how we work on that. How do we get the sales team motivated? Do they understand, what their break-even point is and why they need to have the engagement they need to back to the family, the family office? So we unpacked all of that and we put a budget in place and started turning some things around. And I then we sold off part of their business. I assisted with their sale. We also identified we wanted to do an acquisition as part of a growth plan in the property management space. So we did an acquisition. And I now chair their quarterly family office meetings where we work through getting their strategies right and the separation between having a family discussion in the room and running the business when we walk out of the room. We don't bring our family discussions onto the floor. That's where we run business. If you want a family discussion, we bring it back into our family meeting where you can hash it out. So that is really where I've had a lot of fun of late with the real estate client, taking them from the simple cash forecast, we got cash flow problems inquiry, to being one of their trusted business advisors, and I chair their quarterly family meetings.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, I'm going to bug you now, and I see what you're saying. That's a huge project. That's massive.
Yeah. And a lot of
take you a while. Did it take you a while to sort that out?
Yes and no. I mean,
it's an how you look at it.
Yes. I mean, we sold off a business halfway through it and we did an acquisition just recently. So we got the budget in place fairly quickly.
Just like that.
Yeah. But other things, I think once they had information and started having confidence again about what their business was doing, we just started moving forward with other plans.
Yeah.
So yes, we sorted it quickly, but then I gained new things to sort out.
Yeah, that's right. That's what happens. So that the next generation can now come in
and we're readying for that transition. And unfortunately, and a lot of small businesses are about to face this reality with the recent budget changes. For us to hand over this business to the next generation, we need to go through a restructure, a corporate restructure. And what I mean by that is the current business is held in a unit trust, which is very much like most small businesses, either a unit or discretionary trust. That is how their business is owned. And for us to transition it to the next generation, we need to change that to be an incorporated entity and that suits their business model, right?
Yeah.
But for many other small businesses at the moment who are set up as a trust, they are now starting to have to think about, is this going to work for me? Have we got the right structure in place? So
Gotcha.
The next 12 months will be an interesting space for a lot of small businesses tackling the question. And to be honest, the government keeps moving the goalposts. So I don't even think he's finished landing on what the actual changes are yet. So
no, that doesn't sound like the government. GovCorp?
No,
that doesn't sound like them at all. We just set some rules up and you sort it out yourself. And if we don't like it, oh well, we'll just fine you for it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So that's an awesome testimonial. Much appreciated. That family must be so thankful. So tell us, just give us one more if you can. Give us one more happy feel story.
Well, I'll tell you about my first client I got when I transitioned into my business. And they are a restaurant down in Sydney. Shout out to Ezra. That's EZRA. They're in Potts Point and they have an amazing cuisine. But when I first started this business, I reached out to a friend of mine and said, oh my God, have I done the right thing here? Blah, blah, blah. And so I was sort of getting some reassurance from her that I've made the right decision. And then she said to me after we were talking, actually, I know of someone who needs your skill set. I'll put you in touch. So this was Ezra. And they came on board right at the right time for me. They need assistance with their bookkeeping as a starting point, but they needed more transparency around cash flow management because in the restaurant industry, cash is king and it moves fast. And if we don't follow those metrics close, we can end up in a world of pain.
Absolutely.
They also had a second restaurant that wasn't performing very well at all, and they were questioning whether they wanted to close it or keep it. So I was introduced to them and we went through the whole dance, and they very thankfully gave me the chance and said, okay, can you help us out? Can you start by doing an assessment on our second restaurant about whether we should keep it, close it? If we're going to close it, what's the time frame? Like, what's our plan to close it? And then so we went through that process. I gave them a report. We could have gone either way. To be honest, the product was solid, but they had some staffing problems that were not going to be resolved simply. And so we made that decision that, okay, we will go through the process of closing it. And we went through the action plan. And at the same time, I took on their bookkeeping and started measuring their metrics and improving the visibility about what's happening with their food consumption and getting their profit back on track. We then decided we were going to open a second restaurant again. So we did all the forecasting, invested in opening the second restaurant. And then we're managing the two of them. And it can split your attention very quickly when you're trying to run two restaurants. And if the restaurant can't sustain itself in 6 months' time, then you need to move quickly and close it out. So we did well, but it didn't hold the level of interest we needed to, and it started to cannibalize the market from their original staple icon restaurant, Ezra. So we then moved through the process of closing that second restaurant down and getting that just consolidated back into that single restaurant. and improving their product line, their marketing positioning, and their forecasts back on track. So I still have them client. I'm meeting with them tomorrow afternoon to go through their FY27 forecast, whether we're being too ambitious. I don't think we are. It's always good to reach for the stars. And what strategies we need to put in place to make that work. So they are my other ones that I've had on board.
Have you been? So you've been down to see the business.
So I try to see them once every 6 months because I personally value face-to-face time with clients. It's fantastic to be remote, and it's amazing to have technology, but there's no better connection and downloading on what's actually happening than being in the room with them. You can read what's happening so much better. And then I always like to make sure I have dinner while I'm there in the restaurant because the food would be amazing.
At a discount rate. Yeah.
Of course.
Oh, that's awesome. That's because the food industry is so fickle. Majority with the statistics aren't good for restaurants.
No.
It's like 90%.
Burn and churn.
Well, they basically go into liquidation within 12 months. And if you make it past 5 years, it's like a miracle. And if you can make it past 10 years, it's like
iconic.
You're a saint.
Yeah.
So I get it. I understand it. And that's awesome that you were able to see you're pulling the levers. You saw that there was an issue with the second restaurant and that needed to close down, and then you just started again and going gangbusters now. Are you looking at a third?
Not at the moment. Winter is always a bit of a tough time, and I must say currently people are a little nervous out there, so their discretionary spend is not as fluid as it generally is. So we're sort of holding to get through this period of time, and hopefully when we get to August, everyone settles down again and confidence comes back to the market.
Well, what's happening in August?
Nothing. It's just everyone's been so rattled by the recent budget changes that they're all a little bit.
I see.
What's happening, and
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, a lot has changed. All right, that's fantastic. And what was I going to say? In the other parts of your business, so you're really basically about strategy and financial strategy, and helping
and delivering that, and delivering that strategy.
Yeah, and it's good. It's all good to put it down on paper, but you got to action it as well.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Information is not power; it's the action of the information that is the power. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Was there anything else you wanted to talk about with your business?
One of the things I've written down here, because I just thought it is really key.
Pertinent?
Yeah. So I often say to people, small business owners, they're always wearing so many hats, carrying every major decision for themselves, and wondering why things aren't quite working how they wanted. And I must say, I would suggest to anyone who's in that space is get that team of trusted people around you sooner rather than later. And that doesn't need to be someone full-time. It can be someone who's available to have a conversation with you once a month. But get that sounding board around you so you share the load and you can get back to being focused and confident. Because quite often when you've got everything rattling and you're carrying the weight of your business on your shoulders, you're not thinking clear enough to make the best decision. Yeah. So When the crisis comes, that's really too late. Try and step back a little bit before then and get the right people around you to help with what you need.
Very good advice, mate. A stitch in time saves nine. So I'll move on to the last two questions. You've done well. We're up to 50 minutes. So tell us, who's your ideal client? You've sort of given us a glimpse. You sort of already answered it, but who's your ideal client, Tamzin? Who's the person you'd like to, or business you'd like to help the most?
Well, what I wrote down here was my ideal client is a business owner who is ambitious but's feeling the weight of growing a business. So I don't particularly define my ideal client into a set industry because, as you can see from my experience, that's not necessary. I find all of them interesting. There isn't necessarily a set turnover. What's important to me is that I work best with owners who are curious, open to being challenged, and genuinely want to build a better business, not just a bigger business, a better business. So they are my ideal client, someone who's wanting that, I values the relationship, that trusted person at the leadership table. Someone who ultimately isn't looking for an accountant. They're looking for a trusted thinking partner who happens to be an experienced CFO.
Awesome. That's awesome, mate. All right. So I'll move on to the last question. So what ideas or information would you give to provide lifelong longevity? I had to throw one health question.
No, and I have been very thoughtful in my response to this one. Cool. So there are two key practices that I have in my life that I think attributes to life longevity and daily stress management. So the first one is regular meditation and mindfulness practices, and the second one, yoga. Now, meditation and mindful practices are absolutely key to staying positive. For reflecting, it gives you that moment to reflect on what's working, what's not working, and it declutters that brain so you can focus on the right things. I like to consult with kinesiologists regularly, and a kinesiologist a while ago gave me this meditation pose that I use still now. And what she'd said is you hold your left foot with your left hand and your right foot with your right hand, and you meditate in that pose. And meditating in the pose where you're holding your left in your left and your right in your right actually aligns yourself and allows your nervous system to stabilize and boosts your situational awareness and that deep presence. So that's my tip on meditation is I hold my feet with my hands in the right space. And yoga, I don't practice yoga every day, but I find it very important for body health in keeping you flexible and your joints moving, challenging your mind into those complex poses, and those challenges stimulate new neural pathways, and grounding your energy downwards so that it gets rid of that restless, frantic energy out of your life. So they are my two key tips.
That's it. That's well. Yeah, very good. That's awesome advice. Thank you very much, Tamzin. So, because you haven't bagged me too much today, I'm gonna give you access to my health club. So it's usually worth $11. You get access for 1 month. I'd love your feedback. I teach about EFT, emotional freedom technique, meditation, nutrition, exercise. I had a plan it as well. Roadblocks in your mind, disc profiling, who you are, and you probably already know about that. But acupuncture and Chinese herbal medicine. I go into detail about that and the 8 leading chronic diseases which are killing hundreds of thousands of Australians every year. And the problem is the numbers are getting worse. So you get access to all that. So thank you so much for doing that, and appreciate your time. And I did get some gold nuggets of information today. And thank you, Tamzin. You've got a wealth of knowledge and you've done a lot. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you, Tamzin. Yeah, you're welcome, mate. So thank you, guys. You have a great day. This is Dr. Scott from 6 Cents Acupuncture of the Healthy Habits Club, and you've been watching the Get Busy Living podcast with the wonderful Tamzin Weller. Oh, I forgot to say, and there's her business. There's her business website. So the Business with Purpose. So please check it out, guys. Please check it out.
Wonderful.
All right, guys. Have a great day. Take care.
Thank you.